I was going to say, like, does it bother you as a guy? I mean, we've touched on like media and journalism and stuff, but in terms of like, let's say like public life or like public sector processes and stuff, like I sort of imagine there must be way more efficient ways of running a country based on data and the data that we collect, right? So the obvious example that leaps to my mind immediately is like online voting. Like it's not so much a data, well, I suppose it is a data collection thing, but it's not necessarily like analytics. It's to do with like, let's make this accessible to everyone. Let's get voter turnout up. Super. Like, I mean, you mentioned earlier about Labour getting rained out of power.
Rained off, yeah.
You know, it's the 21st century now. This is absolutely achievable. We all agree that banking online is secure. You know, we trade Bitcoin. Why the fuck is this so hard to do if every time there's an election, then like all the politicians are like, it's really important that you get out and vote. You come on, voter turnout, get out and vote. Like they all seem very, very keen for us to get out and vote. So why are we not voting online, Toby?
Agreed to a point. What I think could be done is to make voting electronic, assuming that you have a company that you can trust and is well audited and everything else. Because obviously there's that movie.
Quite good.
Well, I mean, yes, it's them, those guys, or G4S, maybe G4S, involved in the security while Serco does the technology. I don't know. Now I've lost any possible employment opportunities from those two guys. So there was that film from I can't remember, mid-2000s with Robin Williams, who was playing a comedian who said that he had run for president, and then he ran for president, and then
Robbie Williams was in a movie. Or...
Robin Williams. I'm so sorry. Did I say Robbie Williams?
No, you didn't. I was just being silly. Oh, right. It's just a little throwback.
Missed that. And I didn't give you the credit that you deserve on that one.
Never mind. It was a shit joke. Please carry on.
So I seem to remember that the premise of that was that they would use electronic voting systems, only there was a bug in it that meant that they tried to suppress, because otherwise the stock price would fall, capitalism, and all of its greatness, apart from when it isn't. Only he won because he had two letters in his name next to each other, and so that automatically meant that he won, even though he got the least amount of votes. And then there was obviously the natural drama that he was going to get, or the person that found it out was obviously going to get murdered if the story came out. It's good though, because Robin Williams in any movie is good.
Sure.
Except for 1 Hour Photo, I didn't like that one.
Weirdly, I quite like that. I thought
the plot was a bit underdeveloped.
Yeah, it's a little bit like. I mean, like, I don't know why, but I think of his other movies. I think of like Dead Poets Society, great movie. I think of Good Will Hunting, great movie. And then I think of like 1 Hour Photo, and I think it's really creepy, but there's something like compelling about creepy for my brain. I don't know like what it says about me, but I'm like, I want to see how bad this gets. Like,
yeah, what is gonna happen?
Yeah.
So obviously not one of his top box office films.
No.
But then it then put again, this is the power of story in the West, is it then casts doubt on whether an electronic system could even work anyway.
Yeah. Do you think it could work?
Yeah. I think the difference is you go online. At the moment, the voting age is 18. So you can't vote if you're under 18, but anyone else past that can vote. My parents-in-law do not have the internet and have only recently got mobile phones. As soon as you say online, the opposite becomes true. Under 18s would be perfectly able to vote, but now you're excluding the generation. Now, there will be a point when that generation will die off, and you'll only have people that have ever been known how to do online will be in existence. But there is a transition period that I think needs to be
But it's not a binary thing, is it? I mean, you could have online voting and paper or
Yes,
posting.
and I think that's where, if you were to do electronic voting, one, technologically, it would be easier to validate if that person had already voted online, because they wouldn't be able to vote twice because it's all stored centrally. And electronic voting is also going to bring you out a result instantly, which will put hundreds of volunteers out of work, which is probably not a loss because they weren't getting paid anyway.
No.
There's a funness about the counts and the running and who wants to get the vote in first and all that kind of stuff, which is a cultural heritage that we've had for generations. But it's not that interesting, to be honest. If we could just get voting done by 9 and have a new prime minister at 10, wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. And like, I understand that there's a place for tradition and, you know, a little bit of, you know, we're Britain and this is an election and aren't we great? And yeah, like volunteers in the local parish church, like I get it, but I also think in the interest of efficiency and increasing turnout, I just think I would tip over violently into let's just get online voting done. I don't really see what the argument is against it.
I suppose, I don't know, that you can make an argument. Again, if you've got the right kind of information, you can make an argument about anything. Right?
Yeah.
I can see where you could make an argument about if you've got a physical piece of paper that you have to write on, they've got your signature, as it were, against your number. You've got one voting card, you write on that card. You can't get another card assigned to you, which means that they know that it's definitely yours.
That's a very, like, I mean, come on, man. We both work in tech. We know that is.
Yeah, we know that that's. I mean, you can still do it fraudulently, technologically, as much as you can do voter fraud in real life. It's very hard, and so you only get a very small percentage that actually ever happens.
Yeah,
but that's not a good enough argument.
No,
I think it's the same as some of the other stuff that I said earlier. It's not good enough. There's some stuff where you just go, that just because you have that data doesn't mean that it's worth making that point.
Yeah.